The sky above Kent is a battleground. Hurricanes and Spitfires tangle with Messerschmitts in the desperate arithmetic of the Battle of Britain. Below, farmers look up at the contrails, scratching white lines across the summer blue. One German fighter breaks formation. Smoke pours from its engine. The Messerschmitt 109 spirals downward, clipping treetops before slamming into a field near Marden. The impact tears the earth. Silence follows. The pilot climbs from the wreckage, blood on his face, flight suit torn. His name is Oberleutnant Franz von Werra, 25 years old. Confident, arrogant, some would say. Within minutes, British soldiers arrive. He's searched, disarmed, and led away. But von Werra isn't thinking about surrender. He's already planning his escape. At the interrogation center, he gives the required information: name, rank, serial number, nothing more. The British officers note his composure. Most downed pilots are shaken, grateful to be alive. Not this one. He sits upright, eyes scanning the room, measuring distances, counting guards, noting routines. "How long do you think this war will last?" an interrogator asks. Von Werra smiles. "Long enough for me to get home." They think it's bravado. It isn't. Within days of his capture, Franz von Werra begins studying his captors. Every guard rotation, every door, every weak point in the wire. He's a prisoner of war, but he refuses to accept it. Von Werra is transferred to a POW camp in Griesdale Hall in the Lake District. A grand estate, converted into a prison. High fences, patrols, isolated terrain. The British believe it's escape-proof. Von Werra disagrees. He volunteers for work details, carries tools, observes. During one assignment to clear brush near the perimeter, he waits for the guard to turn his back. Then he runs into the woods, into the cold, into 4 days of freedom that nearly kill him. He has no map, no food, no plan beyond south. He eats raw turnips pulled from fields, drinks from streams, sleeps under hedgerows, shivering through October nights. Every rustle in the dark sounds like a patrol. Every distant voice might be a search party. On the 4th day, exhausted and starving, he approaches a railway worker for help. The man sees through his story immediately. Within hours, von Werra is back in custody. Most men would break. Von Werra takes notes. The British move him to a higher security camp, tighter watch, fewer privileges. But von Werra has learned something crucial. Escape is possible. It just requires better timing. And then, in late 1940, he gets his chance. Canada. Von Werra and other high-risk prisoners are being transferred across the Atlantic, far from any hope of reaching German lines. They're loaded onto trains bound for a maximum security camp near Lake Superior. The train rolls through frozen wilderness. Snow piles high against the windows. Guards sit at both ends of the car, rifles across their laps. Outside, the temperature is 20 degrees below zero. Von Werra studies the lavatory window. Small, but not impossible. On the night of January 21st, during a stop near Prescott, Ontario, he makes his move. He squeezes through the window and drops into the snow. The train pulls away, guards unaware. He runs. Not south this time, west. Toward the frozen St. Lawrence River. Toward the American border. The river is a mile wide. Ice covers most of it, but not all. In the darkness, he can't tell where solid ice ends and open water begins. One wrong step means drowning. He moves carefully, testing each footfall, listening for the crack that means death. He makes it across. On the American side, he collapses, then keeps moving. The United States is neutral. They can't return him to British custody without cause. He walks until he finds a road, flags down a car, spins a story about being a downed Luftwaffe pilot seeking the German consulate. The driver believes him, or doesn't care. Either way, he gets a ride. Within days, German diplomats in New York arrange his transport. The United States cannot legally hold him. The British demand his return, but international law is on von Werra's side. He's moved south, into Mexico, then by ship to South America. By April 1941, Franz von Werra steps off a plane in Berlin. The newsreels capture his arrival. A hero's welcome. Crowds cheer. Nazi officials shake his hand. Goebbels' propaganda machine transforms him into a legend. The only German POW to escape from British custody and make it home. Von Werra is promoted, awarded the Knight's Cross, interviewed, photographed. His story becomes a tool, proof of German resilience, of the superiority of will over circumstance. He plays the part, confident as ever. The man who refused to stay captured. But the war has moved on. By October 1941, von Werra is back in the cockpit, reassigned to the Eastern Front. He flies missions over the Soviet Union, where the air war is brutal and unforgiving. No time for clever escapes here, just survival. On October 25th, 1941, 8 months after his triumphant return, his engine fails during a routine patrol over the North Sea. No dramatic dogfight, no blaze of glory. Just mechanical failure at the worst possible moment. His Messerschmitt goes down. This time, there's no farmer's field, no British soldiers, no interrogation room where he can start planning. Just the cold water and silence. Franz von Werra's body is never recovered. He was 27 years old. His story could have ended in captivity. He could have spent the war behind wire, waiting for peace like thousands of others. But von Werra refused that fate. He studied. He planned. He risked everything, twice, and succeeded where no one else did. He crossed borders, oceans, and the impossible odds of wartime bureaucracy. He proved that determination can outlast steel and barbed wire, that even in total war, one man's will can defy an empire. But in the end, it wasn't the enemy that claimed him. It was the sky itself. Franz von Werra escaped Britain. He escaped Canada. He escaped captivity and made it all the way home. But he could not escape the war. And perhaps that's the real story. Not just of one man's defiance, but of how even the greatest escapes cannot outrun destiny.